This is the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
You're inside Jamaica Magazine.
Encouraging the information flow, sharing the news and views you need to know.
We are building an informed Jamaica every day.
Listening to what you say.
Thanks so much for opening the covers of this Monday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Alison Watson. Featured on the center spread of today's edition, a look back at some of the highlights from the office of the Prime Minister in 2009. Stay tuned for that. But just before the OPM year that was, here are the major stories making today's newscast. Exotic pet lovers, beware. You might be picking up some hazardous diseases with your furry friends. Leave the crocs alone too. Capturing the docile reptiles is an offense, and bauxite refuse may soon replace asphalt as a road paving material. Those and other stories when Jamaica Magazine returns.
Obey road signs and markings. They are there for our safety. Stop at a pedestrian crossing to allow pedestrians standing at the curb to cross the road. Never drive off while a pedestrian is still on the pedestrian crossing. When driving in slow-moving traffic, avoid stopping on a pedestrian crossing. Stop to allow the clearance of the crossing before proceeding. At a junction, stop at the stop bar, not beyond it. Bus lanes are for buses only. Their use by a private vehicle constitutes a traffic offense. No vehicle other than a bus should occupy a bus bay. Do not drive beyond the stop bar in anticipation of the light changing to green. This is dangerous and is against the law. Remain at the stop bar if the queue across the junction is not moving. Blocking the junction will impede traffic flow in the other direction when the lights change to green. Obey the law. It saves money. It saves time. It saves lives.
A message from the Road Safety Unit, Ministry of Transport and Works. Remember, road safety begins with you.
Red mud taken from alumina production may soon be used in the construction of roads across the island. That's according to Vivian Blair, engineer in charge of materials and soil research at the National Works Agency. He says the agency has already gone through one aspect of the research process, working with the Scientific Research Council and the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. Investigations so far have provided some encouraging results. The engineer says the agency will now be moving into the pilot phase. This involves testing the material at a site in St. Elizabeth. This phase should be completed by April this year. If the tests are successful, the initiative could result in savings in road construction and repair. The Agriculture Ministry is trying to clamp down on the illegal importation and purchasing of potential disease-carrying animals. On Friday, the ministry sent out a stern warning against the practice. The advisory particularly mentions monkeys and other exotic animals that are being sought for pets. The public is reminded that the Animal Diseases Importation Control Regulations prevents the importation of monkeys. According to the ministry, exposure to monkeys may cause a number of illnesses. These include simian immunodeficiency virus, or SIV, a retrovirus closely related to the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV. Other potentially lethal illnesses to humans include Ebola Reston, herpes virus 1, rabies, tuberculosis, measles, influenza viruses, yellow fever, monkeypox, and viral hepatitis. Persons who may have been in recent contact with these animals are urged to contact their doctor, a medical officer, or the Ministry of Health immediately. Anyone who has one of these animals, meanwhile, has until February 15 to contact the Ministry's Veterinary Services Division, the National Environment and Planning Agency, or the nearest veterinarian. Those who miss the deadline will face the full brunt of the law. And in related news, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, has issued a public advisory against the molestation of crocodiles. According to NEPA, there are persons attempting to catch the reptiles as a way of gaining national prominence. The Environment Watchdog Agency warns that crocodiles are generally docile but may become aggressive if provoked. Under the Wildlife Protection Act, killing or capturing a crocodile is an offense. Persons found guilty may serve 12 months in prison, a fine of $100,000 or both. Members of the public should exercise extreme caution when using the areas close to swamps, wetlands or gullies, which are natural habitats for crocodiles. If you see a crocodile outside of its habitat, do not attempt to capture the reptile. Contact NEPA at 754-7540 or 1-888-991-5005 or contact the nearest police station. The Registrar's General Department's bedside birth registration program is going strong in the West. The department is reporting 100% success in the registration of births in St. James and Trelawney last year. RGD Western Regional Manager Daniel Clark tells JIS News that between April and November of 2009, the department documented all 3,393 births in the region.
For the parish of Trelawney, for the period April to November 2009, we had 394 births that occurred, and we have all 394 registered. Now, from this number, we have 362 babies that have been named, which represents 92% of the total of birth occurrences. For the parish of St. James now, for the same period, April to November 2009, we've had 2,999 births that occurred. And of this total, all have been registered.
The RGD is particularly proud of its success in getting more fathers to add their names at the time of registration. Of the 394 births in Trelawney, 213 fathers added their particulars, while in St. James, 71% of fathers added their names at the time of registration. The RGD introduced its bedside registration program in 2007 to capture all births and to reduce the number of nameless children. A scholarship fund for some Maroon Grade 9 and Grade 6 high achievers is being established. The scholarship fund will go to the Accompong Primary and Junior High students who get the highest scores in the Grade 6 and Grade 9 achievement tests. Colonel of the Accompong Town Maroons, Inspector Farron Williams, made the announcement at last week's annual Maroon celebrations in the St. Elizabeth community. He says the fund will be set up using proceeds from the event. Hundreds of Jamaicans and foreigners flocked to the Maroon town last Wednesday to take part in the traditional dances, music, rituals and feast that mark the Accompong celebrations. The date for the event, January 6, marks the anniversary of the birth of Cudjoe. The festival is also held in observance of the historic peace treaty between the Accompong Maroons and British forces, which ended over 80 years of guerrilla warfare. Those were the stories making the news today. For more information, please visit our website at www.jis.gov.jm. Stay with us, Jamaica Magazine continues. Two 2009 has come and gone, but it's always good to look back at past achievements. Over the next few weeks, Jamaica Magazine will be recapping the highs and lows of various government ministries. Andrea Chisholm now rewinds 2009 as it unfolded in the office of the Prime Minister.
Defense, planning and development, information and telecommunications, local government. Rewind 2009. It's the JIS TV department's review of the year that was. Rewinding the clock for the office of the Prime Minister is Andrea Chisholm.
Thank you very much, Alva. Last year's calendar for the office of the Prime Minister was indeed a packed one. Over the next few minutes, we'll be backtracking to bring you some of the major highlights. With so many ministries and departments, OPM staff were kept busy tackling a number of issues. So, where to begin? Quite appropriately, we'll rewind some of the Prime Minister's activities. Communication with the Jamaican people was of utmost importance to the Prime Minister. In addition to his one-on-one discussions, he took the time out to speak at various functions with different sectors of the society. However, his town hall meetings and the Jamaica House Live program